Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody, and happy Saturday. I love our weekend chats when feasible. Now, I apologize. I was just talking to Jules of All Trade backstage, in the green room, Hollywood style. Um, I was going to stream the press conference with Q and the other leaders of the Black Panther Party yesterday, which wasn't quite aware of that until recently. But we were getting a new fixture put in the kitchen. So there was a lot of noise and everything going on. It just wasn't feasible. So we're here today. We are here today and we have a lot of stuff to go through. Who did I miss? I've been in here chatting. Shady for Life. What a cool name. Good morning, my friend Tiffany. DT Driver's in the next room. One Love. DT Driver didn't seem to appreciate the word of the day yesterday, which was penal. He didn't find all that to be too damn funny. What to do? Hello, Slim. Corey's in the house. Hello, Laura Miller. Rexy said, don't trust Q. Well, here's where we have to separate it. Is what Rudy said to him the truth? We have to separate all these things, but we can't ignore the background with Quinnell and the other people that he has involved in this. Good morning, Marie. How are you? Let's get to the weather first. How hot is it? Hello, Amy. I already said to Slim, swamp ass. That's what it feels like. You just can't get cooled off. Let's take a second and tell everybody hello, and then I'm going to bring our friend Jules up, who was nice enough to come back and chat with us. Good morning. Good morning. Let's give a big CLL round of applause for our friend Jules of All Trade. Good morning, Jules. Thank you for coming back. We've got you 3 times now. You were on last Saturday. That was a great show. I thought we got through a lot of stuff, went through a lot of business. Yesterday was a big surprise. You had some time. You got to come up and you agreed to come back this morning. Our girl Tiffany said, my brother didn't appreciate the dirty jokes, Brooks. I know. He's always like, why are you always making me the butt of the joke? And I'm like, well, it's in our marriage contract.
Yeah, it really is, though. It is. It's what he signed up for.
It really is. I mean, he didn't read the fine print. It's kind of like when you get a credit card. There's several pages of fine print that he did not look through. Thank you, Aries, for gifting Crime Lines and Lies memberships. Let's get to it. Do you guys think this abuse and everything is for real, or do you think this is a hoax? The whole thing. Now, we know him being missing is a hoax because he was never missing. Thank you, Big T, for the super sticker. Let's start with Jules. She's in the hot seat. Where are you leaning?
I mean, I'm trying to differentiate it because I feel like a lot of this is a lie. I do. I feel like there's a lot of scammage happening here. But I'm also curious as to if the possibility of anything that was said might also be true, which could be an explanation for his willingness to participate in her scams. Because there's some sick situations that happen behind closed doors. So I don't want to completely discredit what he's saying could have happened to him just yet. But I do believe that a majority of this has been a played out situation that I think maybe went wrong.
I couldn't agree more, because we never want to say you're not a victim. Now, I will say this: if he was a woman, it wouldn't be going this way.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
We spoke about that yesterday. We see the sexism, and it can go both ways. The pretty girl gets the job, whereas the dude with the better pedigree doesn't. But the girl who, is in an entanglement with a coach at school, she's instantly a victim, which she is. But a boy is with an older teacher. Oh, he liked that. Oh, yeah, look at him go.
Yeah.
No, double standards.
Yeah, it's not okay. And it's been like that for so long. It's, yeah.
And when you're a mom of boys, those things really bother you. I don't know if you saw the Cade Renfro case.
I don't know if I don't think I've heard that name actually.
That I put on the channel. He's a kid from Stevensville, Texas, went to University of Arkansas, broke up with this girl who wanted to use their sexy footage on her OnlyFans. Well, he just, as the kids say, ghosted her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she went to town. She went to Instagram and made this anonymous page saying he was an artist, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
He's abusive. So he had to get an attorney to fight this. It ruined his life.
Wow. How horrible.
Yeah, check it out. It's on my I did a live and a video.
I'm gonna. And see, that's another thing too. Like, women are so believed whenever they state that they've been abused, but like men are almost like ashamed to even admit that something's happened to him. Like the double standards are just gross all over the place.
Well, like yesterday, my husband was putting in the Me Too hashtag because I kept saying, when DT gets home, I better get the penal. But Me Too hashtag doesn't go for you, DT driver. All right, let's get to some interesting things that have come out overnight. Here is one. This is Rudy. This is his profile from school. It's very hard to read, so I'm going to read it for you. After I clean my Dollar Tree spectacles, you guys probably didn't know, or you do, my optometrist is the $1.25 rack at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to have to read this somewhere else. I cannot read it. Maybe I can read it on my phone better. Thank you, Aries, for the super stickers. Gifting the memberships. All right, here, I can read it this way. About me. My name is Rudy Farias IV. People call me the Rudester. I am 14. I go to Peace Catholic School, where I have been taking accelerated classes. So he's in the gifted and talented classes. And I am a drama student. I have been studying at the Next Actor Studios here in Houston, Texas, and at the Kim Houston Academy, where my brother/father figure signed me up. Everyone at Next Actor Studios has been great. When I'm there, it's my home away from home. Let's talk about this.
So he apparently wrote this about himself?
Or somebody at the school wrote it, when they were putting together the profiles for the kids at Peace Catholic School. It says education, 7 years private acting lessons,
Wow.
6 years of dramatic acting lessons, theater, Mother's Day play, lead role, head horseman, smaller role. So it goes through all the stuff he's been in.
So it's basically like his own version of IMDb.
There you go.
So this kid was smart.
Well, let me put it this way. I don't consider myself the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I was in all the normal classes in school, okay? I can keep up with the conversation. He took accelerated classes at a private school, Peace Catholic School.
Mm-hmm.
He can act.
Which means this was probably something they were paying tuition for.
Yes. Because he was in the next actor's studio.
Mm-hmm. So he's smart and he knows how to act really well. He's like, yeah. So it's, and that's what people are saying in the comments. The mom made it sound like he was autistic, like he was nonverbal. Yeah, because that was part of the plan.
But he's an actor, so all she had to do was make him watch Gilbert Grape a few times and he can pick up on that.
Yeah, honestly.
Where Summer said, beginning to look more like a political move to me, but that's just my opinion. That could be it too. All right, this is where he was talking on his Facebook. He says 4:22 p.m. marks the time my brother took his last breath. He passed away at the exact time he came into this world, 4:22. Rest in peace, brother. Mommy and I will never forget you. Now, this could be something that Janie wrote on his behalf. We have to remember, Janie is a scammer.
Yeah.
So Janie replies to him and says, yes, he was, and still he is. He had such a huge heart and was always helping everyone. That's who he was. Rudy replies to Janie, but we never know. He says, thank you, Miss Laura. Losing my brother, he's replying, I'm sorry, to Laura. Losing brother has made me grow up fast. I had to step up and become the man of the house after brother left us. Miss you guys. Now, from what I'm understanding, Miss Laura is one of the teachers at the Next Actor Studio in Houston.
That's an interesting statement. So, okay, the brother died after the dad or before the dad? Because I can't remember.
After, I believe.
I mean, it's just the whole, like, the man of the house thing, and then what we're being told about how, you know, you're the husband now, blah, blah, blah. It's just interesting.
Well, do you think that they set Quanell up? Navalis, I'm so glad you're here. Navalis said, Navalis has, you guys know I've played some of Navalis's clips on this. Navalis says, hey folks, apparently Rudy is very smart and articulate.
Mm-hmm.
He took accelerated classes. He was in the Next Actors Studio in Houston. Now, let me tell you, not everybody can get into that. So
Right.
He's got talent, okay?
And remember, we were questioning, like, the verbiage that Q was relaying back about, like, the words that apparently Rudy was saying, and we were like, that doesn't sound right, you know, to what we're hearing. But knowing that he's so smart and he was all of these accelerated classes, I mean, he is 25, so for him to be using those words, I mean, makes more sense to me. But that's why this is still so confusing, because I feel like he was in full-on acting mode. The way that he was, like, if this is the situation, he would have been full-on acting mode at the church, probably had to construct some other plan after that to just, like, keep it going, because she was apparently standing there and he was huddling onto her leg and looking down and shaking apparently, and then all of a sudden he could, like, snap out of it and talk, and everything was fine the second she walked out the room. So that kind of tells you how quick he can switch.
Exactly. I believe he's a good actor. I believe he is. And I think Navalis said it first. This has Netflix written all over it.
Yeah.
Now, we have to remember, we have to stay fair, we have to stay unbiased. Quanell did not insert himself. He was asked to get involved by Janie through another reporter.
Yep, that is
true.
The
mom wanted him involved. He's not going to get involved. Trust me, he's got a lot of irons in the fire. Okay, guys.
Yeah, and he made that pretty clear. But I mean, you could also see that kind of like both ways too, though, because if he knows Grizz so well, I mean, if Grizz is the one that got them in contact, if it really, it would really depend on the way that circle went. Like, did he already say something to Grizz about, hey, you know, I'll come and be an advocate if I need to, and maybe she suggested it to Janie, and that's the reason why Janie ended up calling him? Because we don't. I mean, I know he's saying, hey, I was called in here, okay, but was it something that you and Grizz already talked about, and that's why you were called in?
Well, I mean, to take up a banner like this, you would have to hear something that really wants you to get involved. And when the mother of a victim says, the police are being horrible to me, and we know that in that city, I've been doing some research on this, Q is not a friend of Houston police. So if
Right.
he hears that people are being mistreated by the police, he jumps in. So
Yeah.
who's using who here? Was Q using them or the other way around?
I mean, it's a possibility that it all got switched up. Like, I mean, I don't think Q was like involved in whatever, but I think that maybe she thought that he would, like, if Rudy kept in character, it would work, but he didn't keep in character. He switched back as soon as she was taken out the room.
That's
That's
what I
why,
think.
that's why I kind of feel like maybe what he's saying is true to a point, and she just wasn't expecting him to switch.
Well, you said it perfectly yesterday. It backfired.
Yeah, it
You know,
backfired.
she got a hold of him through Grizz. He's there. He talks to her. She's hugging him. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it backfired. So
Hmm.
was this part of the script, as they say in another case, or what's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what's
But
so
we
confusing, because for them to have like apparently put her in handcuffs after hearing this and then letting them leave, I don't s- I don't know what would have possibly happened in between those few minutes time to where the cuffs would have been taken off.
Yeah, they have her in cuffs. This was according to her sister. They have her in cuffs. They take the cuffs off. He had another press conference last night, saying that he wants, they want charges. We're going to go through it. We're going to stream it from, we're going to watch it from Navalis's channel because he got it all cleaned up.
Okay.
Grizz was having a problem.
Hmm.
Um, there's, I'm smelling a rat, but I am not about to turn my back on a possible victim. I'm not going to do it. He is not autistic. He is not nonverbal. He's actually very bright and very talented.
Hmm.
Quite the opposite as this bad bill of goods that has been sold to us.
And that's something else to think about, because it's a possibility that he is not telling the truth, but he's using it as like to his advantage to be able to actually get away from her, because he probably really does want to get away from her, and there's really something happening there to where for some reason he hasn't been able to. And it's a possibility that he created an elaborate story in order to make a separation, because I mean he doesn't want her in jail apparently, but he's not like fighting to stay with her. He apparently just like willingly left with this Nicole person that brought him to the police station and is now like helping him out. He's not trying to find her. Like, she's apparently trying to find him from what I'm seeing from Grizzy's channel. But it seems like he really was trying to just like separate himself. But I don't want to state that maybe he's lying, because there's a
No,
possibility he's not.
there's a
It's just
possibility
hard. It's so hard to tell.
and we can't forget all the things that the neighbors have said,
Yeah.
because we know for sure the people that we know for a fact are telling the truth are the neighbors, and they're
Yeah, 'cause they have
backing up a
no
lot of the stuff
alternative.
that Hugh said.
Yeah.
When he said Rudy had been given all these hallucinogens, and they even said every time he came over, I mean, he was out of his mind.
Yep.
um she tried to pay one neighbor to say that wasn't Rudy, it's her nephew.
Yeah. And those neighbors have no skin in this game. There's no reason for them to lie about what's been going on. It doesn't affect them at all.
And in every case, I always look for the people that have nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
They have no reason to lie. They have nothing to cover up.
Yep.
Let's look at this clip real quick. And please don't think that I'm saying that Quanell made any of this up. I don't know. He did not insert himself. I don't know if he's being used by them because they know that he gets a media presence in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
They could be shopping a Netflix deal, the missing boy that reappears, but he is not all the things that we have heard for the last week. He is not nonverbal. He is not autistic. He's actually extremely bright. Extremely bright. And on top of that, he's not just in the school play. He got into the Next Actor Studio in Houston. Please keep that in mind. 7 years of dramatic training.
Yeah. And Q is really like emotional whenever he's talking about this stuff. And that's like I know people obviously can be actors, but that's a big man to just be like willing to just cry about what he's heard. But I also feel like maybe Janie did actually call him in, that maybe she knew about his relationship with the Houston Police Department, and maybe she felt as if him kind of being in the middle of it, they would leave her alone because he'd be fighting with them. And maybe she felt like it'd be more of a distraction.
Well, and Tiffany has another good point. She said the family is backing Quanell up. They appreciate him.
They are. Yeah,
They
they're backing him. Mm-hmm.
100%. All right, let's look at this. Mystery deepens. Da-da-da-da.
Coverage on Rudy Farias. It's grabbing the world's attention, and it's leaving everyone with some more questions than answers. There are conflicting stories that Janie Santana, Rudy's mother, so far, she has not been charged for lying about her son's missing for 8 years. Houston police say that a missing persons report was made on March 7th, 2015, but Farias returned home the next day. Investigators say they made contact with Farias and his mother over the years, but they would always give police fake names and birth dates. So Fox 26's Matthew Seedorf has been reporting every new development all week long and is live in the newsroom with what we're learning right now. Matthew, what's the latest?
Well, Caroline, right now tonight, Rudy is staying with a family friend, not his mother. Again, though, so far no arrests have been made in this case, but some family members think that needs to change.
Rudy is a victim.
Calls for arrest Friday in a press conference outside the home of Rudy Farias' mother, where Rudy lived in secret after being reported missing 8 years ago.
I came here to let Rudy know we're not afraid to come to your house of terror.
Based on Rudy's interview, there were no reports of sexual abuse reported.
Houston police and activist Quanell X sharing conflicting messages about a conversation Rudy, Quanell, and an investigator had Wednesday regarding what happened those 8 years and a mysterious relationship between the now 25-year-old and his mother.
I interviewed him, and no, there was no. I'm trained to listen for probable cause. I'm trained to listen for statements that can help me get charges or move forward with a case. And no, there was no statements made during this investigation so far.
HPD, don't try me. Because I got it on record, what he said to me. But for the sake of the victim, I'll respect that young man's dignity, as my lawyers told me to. But if you try me with your lies again, I'll let everybody hear what that young man said.
He basically didn't tell me verbally, but he looked at me in the eye and then he shed his tears and he cried with me and he cried about it.
Rudy's aunt, Pauline Sanchez, hugging Rudy Thursday for the first time since he went missing in 2015.
It was beautiful.
The two having some time to catch up.
I did mention Quanell. I said, what you told Quanell, was it the same? He said, yeah.
Houston police tweeting this Friday night saying this missing person investigation is active and ongoing. We ask that everyone respect the investigation process.
I cannot believe, and I refuse to believe, that there's not a single charge that they can come up with.
I have reached out to Rudy's mother for answers and any sort of comment. So far, I haven't heard back. Live in the news.
Well, on Navalis's channel, he has a clip that Grizz took. Hello, Smiley. Hello, Just Cat. That Grizz took where Janie is it appears that she's almost stalking Rudy. Now, he's made it clear he doesn't want to go back to the house. That tells me a lot.
Yeah. I saw that video. She was like right behind her car.
Right behind her car. They need to at least put a protective order in place where she can't go around him. No contact.
Yeah, that's
Get
what I
out
don't
of his
understand. They're not even doing like the little minuscule things they could do. They're not. I don't understand it.
You know, and if Q has this recording, he needs to keep it with his attorney and release it at the right time. You know, it's not time to blast it yet, but he's threatening. He's in a pissing match with Houston police right now, but he's been in that pissing match with them for a very long time.
Yeah. And see, and I'll still state what I said yesterday. He could literally just release the portion of her apparently telling Rudy to take it all back, or she's going to go to jail and she's going to off herself. And that would give validity to everything else that we've heard. He wouldn't have to release the details. That's that little short amount of whatever. If truly it's recorded, that's all they would need to release for us to believe that everything else is true. At least from Q's point, that it was actually all said.
Well, and I don't know if it was the show on Thursday or yesterday or both, you know, where we said the neighbors are backing up what was told to Q. So however you feel about Q, you have to put that into a different compartment, because the neighbors are backing up what he said.
And the family too, really.
Yeah, and the family too. He wouldn't have time to go through the neighborhood and talk to the neighbors and then say Rudy told him this.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's look at this. This is Janie basically stalking her own son. And we have to remember that Rudy, Rudester, Julio, Dolph is an adult.
Yeah.
So they're not just going to pick up the banner and do things for him. He is articulate. He's smart. So if he wants to get a protective order against his mother, he's going to have to talk to the powers that be, if you know what I mean.
I feel like he's probably been offered that. Like, I feel like if this Nicole person is really trying to like help him out and Grizzy is involved, like I feel like it's probably been a conversation to get some sort of restraining order or something. But I just don't understand why the police didn't just at least be like, okay, well, if you really feel like this is how you've been treated towards her, we need to do a protective order. They could have at least offered.
Yeah. I mean, if they have counselors and they have victims advocates for him, they need to walk him through the process.
Yeah. I mean, I know in Texas it takes a few days. It takes a few days because I had an incident with my son's father, and the protective order, it took like 4 days for everything to get finalized and approved. So, I mean, it's possibility it's in works. It's possible, I guess.
All right, this is where she's basically, and this is from Navalus True Crime. I'm going to hook you guys up. You know, go sub to him. He does great work, not just on the Rudy case, but on Michael Vaughn, Delphi. He does great work. And this, you know, we think a lot alike. Let me put it that way.
A quick one. I made a video today talking about Grizzy and what happened last night. Check that out if you have not seen it. But something I didn't catch when I made the video was on Grizzy's way out last night, she stumbles across Janie. Janie's there waiting. She knows where Rudy is. She knows where he's staying. And she's just kind of stalking the place out on the corner.
Now that is scary. I want to address this comment from my husband. And I hate to admit this, don't tell him I said it, but he's normally right about these things, probably because he's former law enforcement or just because he married me. So he's right about a lot of things. I don't know. He says Q and Mama are in bed together. Now he doesn't mean it literally. They want a lawsuit against HPD because we know many mistakes were made by HPD. You know, Quanell has a hard on for him. Yeah. Okay. You know that. He's always after Houston police, always after them. And so this could be another one of Janie's scams. She brought him in. She was pretending to be Grizz at one point. She got a hold of Grizz. Hang on, extra AF. She has a vote for DT. She says, I agree, DT, totally.
Road. Here's the clip.
Janie's car. Janie just pulled up to where this young man has, he's being protected at. Oh, man, this stuff is crazy. This is Janie's rental. And I hope she gets the notification. I haven't blocked her off my page yet. That's the ride that Janie's going around in.
Either she's a bad driver or she's renting from a place that's not Avis, Budget, or Enterprise, because every rental car that she claims to have is beat to hell and back.
Yeah, you can see dents on this one too.
Yeah.
Weird.
What's up with it, Hood News peeps? She just passed by and she doesn't know I'm behind her. That's Janie right there, friends. Oh, she's going real fast now. She better slow down. This is Rudy Farias' mom.
There's also a press conference apparently in a few hours at 5 p.m. in Houston time at Janie's house, where Mr. X and some of his friends are going to be there with family members calling for Janie's arrest. I'm not sure that's the best idea at this time. I don't know. There's lots of pressure now coming on Janie, and I believe she has a license for 2 guns, and the family said she's always carrying at least one. So I just have a bad feeling something is going to go off.
And I'm glad that Navalis reminded everybody of that. She does have a license for 2 guns. It has been said by her family she's always packing heat. And if they keep messing with her, she's obviously not in her right mind. Let's face it. She's made up profiles to talk to herself.
Yeah. And Cinema put a video out, I don't know, maybe like 20 minutes before your live started. And in his video, he's claiming that she was in the house behind them during this press conference. Like she was actually in the house, is what Cinema said. I don't know if that's true.
That's what I heard too.
Jeez. So, but where was the car? Like her rental wasn't in the driveway, from what I could tell.
Who knows with Janie? She could have parked it in the garage. Who knows?
Yeah, that's nuts. She was in the house, because I thought that she had like taken off, because everyone's acted like they couldn't. They didn't know where she was since Wednesday.
I mean, we know that she knows where Rudy's at, and she keeps driving by. But someone's going to have to get a hold of Rudy, and with as articulate and talented as he is, he's going to have to explain the danger to himself, who he is an adult, and they're going to have to get a protective order. And if she violates that, well, then there you go.
Yeah.
Gamer Lover said this is like one of those slip on water on the floor at McDonald's scams. Funny story. Our girl Janie, she went to a Dollar Tree in Baytown, Texas, which is on the other side of Houston. I have a feeling there's a few Dollar Trees around Houston, but she went to this one. She had a slip and fall in the bathroom and sued the Dollar Tree for hurting her back.
Just the fact that her Dollar Tree has a bathroom, I don't comprehend, because all the ones around here don't have bathrooms. So that's crazy, but okay.
Ours does, but it's an experiment in terror to use it. You don't want to use the Dollar Tree bathroom.
Like we have, I live in a weird area where I'm kind of in between two towns, and we have like 3 Dollar Trees. None of them have bathrooms. None of them.
No, you're going to hold it till your bladder bursts till you get home or to the nearest Quick Trip. Don't ever use the Dollar Tree bathroom. Never. So this came out yesterday too. Janie was in a Facebook group. Go figure. This lady said, a friend and I used to be admins in a Facebook group she created. When we started questioning her lies, meaning Janie, and started finding a lot of ugly truths surrounding her life, we ran. She had a date with a guy from the group. Janie's always getting her groove on, okay? Janie is one horny bitch. We heard about the lavish wedding she was planning at Disneyland with the guy who went back to his other girlfriend after he saw Rudy in the kitchen making a Pop-Tart. And she wanted the Cinderella wedding with a glass slipper. Anyway, so she had a date with a guy from the Facebook group. Then she blocked him from the group because she didn't want anyone knowing what she really looked like. She's always posting model-like fake photos of herself. Well, he posted a picture of them on their date in the group. So she got mad.
Jeez.
She took it down and she blocked him from the group.
So he went on a date with her thinking that she was going to be like the more white filtered skinny faced person. Is that the one that he thought she was?
He thought she was going to be this person.
Yeah, that one. Wow. I mean, I'd have loud capped her ass too. That's ridiculous.
So this is what showed up. She got the all-you-can-eat bottomless fajitas and a picture of margaritas just for her. And he posted it in the group. He said, this is the real Janie. This right here is not Janie. So that's not Janie, is what he said. This is a picture I took from our date. This is her. He even talked about the bottomless fajitas, the picture of margaritas just for her. They were going to go Dutch, but she didn't have any money on her because whatever happened. So he paid for the whole meal. I guess they did, get together and, they knocked some boots and stuff like that because, he's not going to turn that down.
Is that like what they're saying, that he actually slept with her after that?
Well, that's according to Janie, because she's saying that he posted this picture of this perfect stranger because the man that she was with couldn't perform the way she wanted and had a very small pee-pee. And that's the reason he took a picture of this stranger and put it in her Facebook group.
Oh, wow. See, that's why I'm thinking like this Q thing backfired on her, because she seems to try to like quickly fix her mistakes when something pops up, because that's a really ridiculous story to just come up with.
Nicey Marie, thank you for the super sticker. You are too kind, too generous. Nicey said, I think Janie is a scammer. All these husbands, I think she's a black widow. They need to check into all the past surrounding, including the grandmother. Sad, poor Rudy.
Yeah, see, I've had questions about the motorcycle stuff now.
I'm questioning the motorcycle stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm questioning the self-inflicted GS wound.
Yeah. Me too. I was thinking about that this morning. For real.
I want to watch my show.
Oh, I hear you, baby. Woke up, baby.
Yeah, he just woke up and got on my lap.
Woo. All right, now we get to the presser from yesterday. Let me tell you. Okay, Navalis got this and cleaned it up. Let me put a link in here for Navalis. And if you guys could put a link in for Jules of all trades, she is on. Navalis, if you want to come up, let me know, because we're going to go through this. There's a lot to listen to.
How she would lock him in a room and leave him locked in there. That woman, a straight up monster. That in this house, she made him sleep in the bed with her all the time. She would kiss him in the mouth when she made him get in the bed with her in this rotten ass house. That detective is an absolute liar. I have come here today to speak that which that young man spoke to me. I have come here today to clear up one thing in particular. The lie that HPD told. HPD said that no sexual abuse was reported. That detective is an absolute liar. He sat there with me for an hour and 15 minutes and listened to every word Rudy said to me. In fact, he told the detective, I want Quanell to stay. And Grizzy was right there with us. Rudy asked, could he go home with me? He asked the detectives, can I go home with Quanell? She's right. We have witnesses to this. This detective heard everything Rudy said to me. But he was angry with me also because the detective did not want me in the meeting. He did not want me in the room. And it really got confrontational. We have the video of he and I.
He said, this rotten ass house. Any of you that know how to get a hold of Quanell, can you send him a picture of Beach Creek Road, 110 Ben Hill Road? I don't think he knows what a rotten ass house really looks like, because what's behind him is the Taj Mahal compared to the property that Dawn and Candace Wells maintain. Sorry to go off topic.
As heated argument about them asking me to come in and them not, the cops not wanting me to go in. The detective heard Rudy say to me out of his own mouth, detective sitting right next to me, that in this house, she made him sleep in the bed with her all the time. And that young boy said to me and that detective that I did not like it. I didn't want to do it, that she was crossing boundaries and she would not respect my space and respect my boundaries. He said to that detective right in front of me that she would kiss him in the mouth when she made him get in the bed with her in this rotten ass house. She forced.
Okay, let's get to the word of the day. Actually, it's going to be words. Are you guys ready? Today's secret words.
What's today's secret word?
Ooh, interesting question. Let's go and ask Cocky.
Today's secret words are rotten ass. So figure out every way to put that in a sentence.
Bet.
Rotten ass.
That's awesome.
Rotten ass.
Forced that boy to play daddy. She forced that young man to be her husband. He said to me in front of the detective, she told me I had to be her husband. He said to me in front of that detective, she said, I got to be the daddy now. He said to me in front of that detective that she would come in the restroom while he was in the shower and she would get naked completely herself and pull the curtain back on that young boy. And I'll leave it right there because the rest will make you want to vomit. So for HPD to say that no sexual abuse was reported to them, they're absolute liars. That man heard everything that I heard. I'm standing here speaking the truth of what Rudy said to me. Now I'm standing here, fighting for that young man. I beg the detective, don't allow Rudy to go home with this woman. Don't allow Rudy to leave with this woman. I begged them to do something to stop him. I said to the detective, all three of them, after what you and I just heard in that room with that young man, how in the hell can you allow that boy to leave with that woman? And the detective said to me, because he is an adult, there's not a lot we can do about it.
Okay, now this is actually true, and Jules can probably explain more. When someone is of age and they are an adult, they really can do whatever they want to do. And without, I don't explain it, Jules.
Well, this is the problem. There's so many different things they could technically get her on if what he's stating is true. I still disagree with the fact that they aren't trying to do anything. But if he's not wanting to press charges, they can't make him. If they're not seeing anything on him, like physically, that makes him look like he's actually been abused, if there's nothing where they feel like they have to intervene actually, then they can't do anything. It's just like whenever a DV victim has the ability to like drop charges, well, they can't continue certain things if they don't want anything done. Now, Texas has changed that for certain situations, but this wouldn't be one of them. So if he's sitting there saying, yeah, I've gone through this, this, and this, but I don't want to press charges, they can't do anything. They really can't. But it's still, it's disgusting to me still, because they have the fact that they know that he was back the next day after he was reported missing and nothing was done about it to let them know. And she continued to hide him. And I mean, all of the telltale signs of at least a kidnapping is right there. And they're basically letting a kidnapping victim go back with their kidnapper.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Just on the basics, just on the very bare minimum, man, just on the bare minimum. And they're not even paying attention to that or care because he's a grown male. That shouldn't matter in this case at all. But it does for some reason.
And they were still using resources in Houston investigating his disappearance. And as you see in 2016, a year later, this is from Bella, who is one of Janie's personalities. Rudy, where are you? It's been over a year now and still no sign of Rudy anywhere. There is no sister named Bella, as you know.
Yeah.
This is also Rudy's mom's, Janie's second Mother's Day and birthday. And once again, they have both come and passed yet again. And tomorrow is his mom, Janie's birthday, and another year without her son and no sign of Rudy. And it says, click here to support, help bring Rudy home, the GoFundMe. And they were collecting money.
Mm-hmm. And not just that, but then the EquiSearch. And then there was another agency that we saw yesterday, and there's no telling how many others were contacted by Janie years and years after the fact and led falsely into spending resources that could have been actually used towards actually finding missing people. Like, it's not just the fact that she's wasted all this money and lied. All those resources could have literally actually done something being used on this. So she's really affected, like, the capability of other families being able to find their missing people too with all of her bullshit.
Well, and I mean, with all of this going on, Rudy missing, she was planning this lavish wedding with the man who, by the way, this guy's like 120 pounds. Okay? He's a little dude. So, I mean, him mounting our girl Janie would look like a toothpick on a hamburger bun. Okay? Because we know Janie has a big appetite for a lot of things. A lot of things. So here he is. She starts harassing his ex-girlfriend. I would think, I mean, somebody would have said something to the police about other things. I mean, like that.
Right? Yeah, like she kind of just doesn't have any morals all the way around. Like, I'm really curious as to what else this woman's done that we might not even find out about, honestly.
I think we're going to find out in the Netflix show.
Detective, I also said to him, I said, sir, you know everything that young boy just told us. You cannot allow him to leave with her. That young boy told us how she would lock him in a room and leave him locked in there. That young boy told us how she would give him drugs, mushrooms as he called them. That young boy talked about how the drugs would cause him to hallucinate. She lied and told me when I first talked to her that the Hispanic young man that was seen here was her ex-boyfriend. And then when we were in the meeting with the detectives, she said it was her nephew. She'd been telling lies for years. So you mean to tell me, Houston Police Department, this woman can tell multiple lies to law enforcement. She can raise money all on GoFundMe pages. I talked with the investigator for at length today who worked on this case for years, the private investigator. She would raise money for Miss Jimmy. And one time she said when she raised the money for her, she only came for 5 minutes, picked up the $2,000 and drove off and left and didn't even thank the people who was raising the money on behalf of Rudy.
So she got $2,000. This is an elaborate scam. April Wine, glad you're here. She says, kind of makes me wonder what the older boy went through before his passing. And I'm really trying to find out more about that. And I'm really running into a lot of dead ends.
Yeah.
I want to know more about him too. And I want to know why he had such a big life insurance and was left to his minor brother.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah,
this
that's
was
strange.
obviously set up by Janie, but why would she leave Rudy as the beneficiary and not her?
It was a motorcycle accident, Lindsay. There was 2 different motorcycle accidents where people passed away in this family that are kind of interesting now. Because, parts can be manipulated and things.
I'd be at the boneyard finding those motorcycles, finding out what's going on. And Janie herself rides a motorcycle.
She does? Jeez.
Yeah, there was a picture of her posted of her driving down to Baytown. She goes to Baytown quite a bit, and she was on a motorcycle. She posted the picture herself. It's definitely Janie.
To look for him. I cannot believe and I refuse to believe that there's not a single charge that they can come up with to put this woman in jail so a judge can tell her you can have no contact with the victim, just like you do in domestic violence cases. If a man gets arrested for putting his hands on a wife, God forbid, they tell him that you cannot have any contact with the victim. Rudy is a victim. The reason why he was so willing to lie is because she had convinced him that the police had warrants out for his arrest because he had ran away. And she told him, because you ran away and they were looking for you and they spent resources looking for you, that you have a warrant for your arrest. And if they catch you, you're going to jail. She had convinced the young man to wear an assumed name because he thought he was in trouble for running away. Rudy also said to us, me and the detective, on more than one occasion, he put his head down in tears right before he began to talk about him playing daddy at her request, and he got to be the husband. He has to be the husband, for the sake.
Okay, now let's go back to this that was posted. This is where I don't know who's posting, because with our girl, fajita loving, penal loving Janie, you don't know who's posting. If Rudy's posting or she's posting. But he said after the brother died, the father has passed away at this point too. Sus in my book, but hey, it says, thank you. I have to step up and be the man of the house.
Yeah. Strange verbiage. And did you see what I sent you from Twitter?
Where'd you send it?
The email.
Oh, no. I got to go check it.
It was yesterday. It's basically, she'd even reached out to like another missing person's mom because there was like some sort of rumor that she started that these two were seen at a casino in Kinder, Louisiana together. And she like got this whole entire family involved in this lie. And it was like never true. Apparently, of course it wasn't because he was with her. But yeah, she like got this whole other family involved with like this hope that their son had been actually spotted somewhere and it wasn't true.
You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, it's on the Twitter.
Reached out to Elizabeth Smart and wanted Elizabeth Smart to interview her, but we know what Janie's interviews look like. She looks like a Henry Hill in witness protection from the movie Goodfellas. She's all, blobbed out, voice changer.
That's just half her body. Yeah. And Cinema was right calling that red flag out about her never wanting to show her face from the very beginning. And like, dang, I never thought it was going to end up being like this. Jesus.
No, and I mean, like the FBI is really big about when a child is missing for the child. And I mean, a case study on it would be the Cleveland Three, Amanda Berry, Gina DeJesus, and Michelle Knight, because they would see their parents. Well, Michelle didn't, but Gina and Amanda would see their parents on TV advocating for them. Yeah. And they said it's very, very important. Now, she says the FBI told her not to show her face because the Mexicans will come get her.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Thank you, Barb, for the super sticker. Thank you. Thank you. They don't do that. Oh, my husband's got jokes. What the hell? Greg, that's not the word of the day. What's the word of the day, everybody?
Rotten ass.
You're a day late, $1 short, Greg. He's in the next room watching TV. What's the word of the day?
What's today's secret word?
Ooh, interesting question. Let's go and ask Cocky.
Rotten ass.
He said, I don't want my mama to go to prison. I don't want my mama to go to jail. On yesterday, when the question was asked, was there a sexual relationship? The sergeant lied in his response. And then the next question was there a sexual relation between the mother and her son? They refused to answer that question and said he's a victim and we protect all sexual assault victims. See, they know what I'm saying is the truth. That dirty, low-down damn cop was right there with me when Rudy said everything that he said. Just go back and look at the press conference. Why didn't you say, from what we know, there was no sexual relationship? You so freely saying that there was no sexual abuse reported. So what are you suggesting? Because he was of age, he gave consent? Is that what you're trying to suggest? Let me tell you something. Rudy is a victim. And for HPD to suggest on any level that young boy may be involved in this scheme, that's wrong. That boy wasn't involved in no scheme. That woman is.
This is important. I don't know. I mean, Q knows what he's doing. He's in front of a camera a lot. Okay. But for him to say HPD suggesting he's part of a scheme, has anybody, and please tell me because I miss a lot of stuff, you know what I mean. Has anybody heard Houston police suggest that Rudy was part of a scheme?
I know they made comments about him giving misidentification. So that might be where he's getting that from, because I do remember them mentioning something about it, because like charges against Rudy for that was apparently brought in front of the DA and they refused that too. So that was something that they mentioned. So that's probably where he's getting that from. I don't remember them stating that directly though.
No, because giving misidentification as a missing person who's scared, as know, Elizabeth Smart wouldn't give her real name. Sean Hornbeck would not tell the police his real name. JC Dugard gave a fake name. I think she said her name was Starla or something like that. So they're not, I mean, if someone has been, let's just say, tranquilized for all this time, they're not going to go after them. So I want to know, because he said scheme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did.
A straight up monster. Telling you straight up. That's what that woman is. Woman sit there and told Grizzly and I both multiple lies. Multiple lies. And then get in the room with the detective and she starts singing a whole nother song. Rudy, in my opinion, his safety is in danger. Until he can be removed and placed with loving family or put in a facility where he can receive the type of mental health treatment and drug detox treatment that he needs. He needs that help. And right now, he's not getting that help. And what further angers me, you know, for that cop to hear about all the drug abuse, and he ain't do nothing to get that boy no help. Should have called, I say, man, call the paramedics. Take this kid to the hospital. Look at him. Then she told a big lie when we first got there. And I hate to put you on the spot, Grizzly, but if it wasn't for Grizzly, I would have never got involved. Let me say that again. If it wasn't for Grizzly, that mother never would have called me. But she called me thinking I was going to help cover up with the lies she would tell and defend her.
Okay. This was just sent to me in my Facebook Messenger. It's from a Facebook group. Remember, I believe everything I read on the internet, especially if it comes from Facebook groups. Right, guys? Always. So it has been said that Quanell and his attorney are going to sue the Houston Police Department. They're preparing a lawsuit for not protecting Rudy for the last 8 years. Mind you, this is on Facebook.
That's interesting. He could only be, if that's true, and he could only really be going that route if he has recordings like he's claiming.
He better have a recording. He better have something. Extra AF said, there it is. See, and now I've got to deal with rotten ass Greg in the next room all day because he's been saying that for days.
Yeah,
Remember,
he was right.
Today?
He was right.
Man, let me tell you something. Everyone should be praying for Rudy and should be outraged with how this is being handled. That woman should be under the jail. I'm telling you for a fact what this young man said to me. And I'm going to leave it at this. HPD, don't try me. Because I got it on record what he said to me. But for the sake of the victim, I'll respect that young man's dignity, as my lawyers told me to. But if you try me with your lies again, I'll let everybody hear what that young man said. But I want to respect that young man's privacy, because what he went through should be for him to expose to a therapist and not for me to share with the public. But I covered my bases. I'll take your questions.
Why do you think HPD is lying?
I think HPD is embarrassed that they encountered Rudy on several occasions and did not do their due diligence. When they came to this address, had they done just some basic fundamental research, they would have seen that a child went missing from this address just years before. When they encountered him on other occasions, they didn't do their due diligence. They let that boy keep going with his mother. When neighbors would call in, when family would call in and say, hey, look, we got this tip about Rudy, they never even followed through. And in fact, they have to tell the whole world now why when Rudy was found, you waited 8 days. 8 days to question him.
Okay, well, we don't get to question the police and their tactics. We just don't get to. We don't know the method to their madness. And it happens all the time. People are always like, I want to see the body cam. Where's the CCTV? Where I haven't seen any fingerprints. Fool, you wouldn't even know what you're looking at. Extra AF has a point. She says, how is he respecting his privacy when he ran out to tell his business?
Yeah. Yeah. He had no problem walking right out and being, I mean, he didn't allude to everything, but he gave a lot of detail for sure.
Told you guys not to ag my husband on. He's shitting in tall cotton now. He thinks he's the man around here. My goodness, this is going to be a hell of a day. He wants me to cook and everything.
In fact, they wasn't going to even question Rudy. Let me be clear about that. They had decided that they were not going to question Rudy after the mother told them he's nonverbal. The mother told me and the detectives right in front of Grizzly, oh, he's nonverbal. He can't talk. And so I pulled up a chair and I sat down next to him, and he was holding his mother's leg and crouched all over. And she had covered him up with a blanket. I said, little brother, can you look at me? And he raised his head up and he looked. I said, I know you. I said, you do? He said, I know you. You Mr. X. I said, wow, little brother, you speaking now. Am I lying, Grizzly? Nope. Then I said, well, young man, can I shake your hand? He put his hand out. He's shaking like this, like a leaf blowing in the wind. And I shook that young man's hand. I said, can you sit up and talk to me? And he looked at his mama. And she said, no, he gonna have a panic attack. No, he gonna have a breakdown. I said, I think he'll be okay. I said, young fella, you'll be okay? He said, so I helped him up. And we set him in a chair. And his mama said, we need to leave because I think he's gonna have a panic attack. And the detective said this, well, okay. Call us when you think he's better. Call us when you think he's able to talk. And I said, well, wait a minute. I said, at first he was nonverbal, but he's talking right now. I said, give him a chance.
Okay, this is so important. I can't make this any more clear. First, you tell us, now this came from Janie, he's nonverbal, he's autistic. What did we find out today?
Yeah. Yeah. And the details that he gives in here just makes it like more confusing, because not only are the cops apparently like hearing this stuff, if it is true and it's recorded, they're hearing this stuff, but they're also having to see this, right? See the difference in the behavioral change and the way that he is when she's out the room versus when she's around, or seeing the way that she's trying to make all these freaking excuses for him not to be alone without her, and all of the interruptions and all that. They're not seeing that as some sort of freaking red flag. It's really not making sense.
No.
I mean, she literally is doing textbook, I don't need this person to talk tactics here. And they're just letting it go.
They're just letting it go.
I don't
if
get
you
it.
look at the screen, he went to Peace Catholic School, a private school. Clarence parents have a real good marriage, if you know what I mean. Went to a private school, accelerated classes, went to the Next Studios actor. He was studying dramatic acting for 7 years. You can't be a dramatic actor and be non-verbal.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't going to a school to be a mime. And this is a good question several people have asked in here. If you're out there addressing the press and you have the family, why do you have to have the Black Panthers with you if this is not political?
Maybe for protection. I mean, I can see why people are saying that, but if home chick is really in the house with a gun, I don't blame him for having his team there. So it can be looked at both ways, I guess.
I wrote down home skillet yesterday, and now we we may have to change our word of the day. I don't know, but I'm stuck on rotten ass.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Detective said, well, if it's okay with him. And I said, Rudy, would you mind talking to us? He said, yeah. I said, okay. Ask Grizzly. I said, okay, talk to the detective. I got up to walk out. Rudy grabbed my hand and said, no, I want him to stay. So for all of you people who putting it out there that I put myself into this case, his mama called me and Rudy demanded that I stay. So I said, okay. I sat down next to her. And we asked the mother to leave. She didn't want to leave. We said, ma'am, it's important that you leave so we can see if he'll talk. He might open up. So she said, okay. She left. We started talking to her. She came back 3 minutes later, bamming on the door. We opened the door. She said, is he having a panic attack? We said, no. He's fine. Look at him. Rudy was calm. Rudy was calm. I said, look at him. She said, okay. She left. Started talking to him again. She come back 5 minutes later, banging on the door. Is he okay? Is he okay? I said, no, he's fine. Look at him. He's fine. We filming this too now because we knew what she was trying to do. So then we started talking to him again. In that moment, it went on for a lengthy period of time then, for about an hour. Then she came back and tried to do up again. We stopped her. It went on for another 15 minutes. Then I did not want Rudy to see me start crying. So I was trying to start turning my back to him like this because of what he was telling me.
Okay, I see a few comments about, Janie got a gun. Well, it's common in Oklahoma too. Let me tell you a story. I know you guys love story time. The first time my husband visited Oklahoma from New York, his eyes were as big as dish plates. He said, those guys have guns. And I said, yeah. It's very common. A lot of people carry guns around here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you walk into a Kroger and there's usually some, older man at the self-checkout with one on his hip. No badge. Just protecting yourself. The world's insane. I mean, I know it's not a good concept in this situation because she's absolutely bonkers, but it's, yeah, either or.
Now, Crazy Janie /Bella /Alexis /Christina /Deborah, I mean, all the names she has, probably shouldn't have anything stronger than a dull butter knife, okay? Because I'm surprised she didn't walk out there and have her own Black Panther party last night.
Hell, I have grown sons. I have a 16-year-old son. And so he grabbed my hand again, and I turned around. I was crying. And you know what he said to me? He said, it's okay. Don't cry. Everything I told you that young man said to me, he said right now. Everything. And when I got up, we exited that room. I stood in front of those detectives. And this is on camera. We got it on tape. I said, Sergeant, is there anything that you would not want me to say to the media that would jeopardize your investigation? He said, no. I said, sir, are you sure? Are you sure? He said, so we waited for like 5 or 10 more minutes because they took her into another room and they had detained her. They had detained her, put her in handcuffs. Now, here's the problem with that. If what the detective heard in that room was not a crime, well, then why did he come out the room and put the mama in handcuffs? This ain't passing the smell test, man. If what you heard, detective, was not a crime, why you put that woman in handcuffs? Because he heard the same exact thing I heard. So before I left out again, I said to all three of them, I said, is there anything that I should not say that would jeopardize your investigation? And on the third time, they said no. 3 times I asked them. So HPD, if you keep lying, we'll let everybody see how it all went. So, for the sake of Rudy, now I'll close on this last thing. I come out the room, the detective come out the room. As we step away, the door was still semi-cracked. She went in the room with Rudy. She sat down in front of him and started asking him about what he was telling us. Then she said this to him. Back me up, Grizzly, you were right there. She said, you got to change your story. If you tell them what you have told them, she's going to go to jail. She said, I'm going to go to jail and I will kill myself. That's what his mama said to him. And the detectives was right there at the crack door with us.
Now, I do not believe with these accusations, they should have let her have any communication with Rudy.
Mm-mm. None.
And so we go back to what was said when he said, I don't want her to go to jail.
Yeah. But I just don't understand. I just know if the roles were reversed, if this was a father and Rudy was a girl named Ruby, this wouldn't be happening. I just don't get it.
I don't think so either.
No, they wouldn't have just given a kidnapped girl back to the father that's been keeping her basically, locked away in a dungeon for 8 years. Hell no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't let that person not get charged just because the girl said, oh, I don't want my daddy to go to jail. That's not how it would work. No.
No, they would treat it a lot more seriously. I think the fact that he showed back up at home, these were his admissions. I did run away. I came back home. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the question. Did Rudy know for all this time his mother was still fundraising and reporting him missing?
I mean, he was totally okay by going over, with a different name. So probably. I mean, it's not like, he would have had to. He would have had to. She doesn't really, this whole security job thing, isn't it newer? Because the family makes it sound as if she never had any money, never had any work, but always just wanted to always had money to just go spend and live this life that she actually couldn't afford to. And that had to have been coming from all of her scams.
Well, now she got a pension. She got her husband's pension when he died.
Right.
Then, of course, we have the life insurance money from the motorcycle wreck.
Right.
The other motorcycle wreck, I don't know if she benefited from that. We have the slip and fall at the Dollar Tree bathroom in Baytown. Of course, she was fundraising in the Let's Find Rudy campaign. So she's had a lot of scams going on. Yeah. And this could be her biggest one.
I had a weird thought. It's probably a little bit too far reaching, but I'm almost wondering if This might have been like some elaborate scam to get back at the police department. And maybe it backfired a little bit. I don't know. Because this is like, they didn't do anything. I feel like they didn't take it very seriously. And that maybe she knew they wouldn't because of her husband's reputation. Kid already like wasn't in school for a few months before he apparently went missing. It's almost like they were figuring things out, possibly. And now this, and the cops are just totally okay with not arresting her. And now we're hearing about a lawsuit. Well, if she's not in prison because he's refusing to press charges on her and the cops aren't going to do anything about it, but then they end up getting, lawsuited, and then Rudy, the victim here, gets all these bazillions of dollars from Houston from whatever crap ends up being presented in court. Well, if she's not in jail, then after he gets his money, they can go live happily ever after, and there she has her scam money again. It's just one of the thoughts that I've had, because she apparently has been doing several parts of these scams for years without skipping a beat.
Oh, I think you're on a really good trail. I love how your mind works. Because think about it. She was on the gravy train. Her husband was working for HPD, great benefits. I'm not saying that they make tons of money or anything. Then he gets into this overtime scam and all this stuff. Then he's gone. I think she's had an axe to grind with them since. It makes perfect sense. Now, I think the old boy was set up. I think he got into some politics. He had a problem with one of the police union presidents. That would have to be a whole different show of how police work. Wow. But yeah, that could have been her motivation from the get.
And it seems like he would have been in on it, just from the things that we've heard. Because like there's this backpack that doesn't even make sense. He has been allowed to like leave for 8 years, like on his own in separate occasions, and has always given a false name, which I know we've talked about that before, but it's just still strange to me if he was able to like just go out on his own with the keys and the car and the credit card, that none of those opportunities were taken. That's the strangest thing about it to me, because it's not like she was right there to stop him.
No. No. She was letting him freely walk around. It was kind of an in-your-face to HPD. Yeah. Dolores said, Brooke, she was married to different HPD officers. She's been married several times. Don't think she's a one and done.
Yeah.
We know she has a very high sex drive. She loves fajitas and she loves the penal. She was never married to Rudy's dad.
Yeah. Which makes it stranger, the whole, you have to be the daddy now, whenever it wasn't even like his dad that's gone. Yeah, a little bit weird.
Well, according to this Facebook group, Q has said today that they're filing a lawsuit against HPD next week for not protecting Rudy.
And she's got no charges on her.
And I know she said this, but she said it to me.
So, Rudy is a victim. Rudy needs help. That kid needs help. I've sat down with many, many men who confessed heinous murders to me. I've sat down with men who've told me about crimes they've committed that I've had to turn in that'll make you vomit. This ain't my first case like this. But Rudy is alive. But if he's allowed to be in that woman's custody at any length of time, he very well might not be. Because I believe she will harm that child to try to cover herself. Any questions?
So based on everything that you've heard, what crime do you think was committed, and what do you think she should be charged?
Well, she and I went over that, so I'll let Dr. Matthews handle that. We went over at length with some of that. But let me say this. Incest is a crime in Texas. Even if they want to try to imply subtly it was consensual, that's sick, man. That boy was not in his right mind. That boy was exploited and taken advantage of. And incest is one. there's still some wrestling about the age when this really took place. But making false police reports, yes. Multiple false police reports, yes. Making a false stolen car report, yes. Absolutely. Lying and saying telling the bank my credit card was stolen, and it wasn't stolen. You gave it to Rudy to have in his pocket to use to buy things for you. Then you sit there and tell detectives, oh, I canceled that credit card by 6-7 years ago. Damn credit card 2.5 years old. How he get it? From right out of here. That's how he got it. Just multiple crimes.
Cornell.
From the family.
No denying that. There are multiple crimes. There are multiple financial fraudulent crimes.
Yeah.
Now, statute on the GoFundMe has run out, but GoFundMe on their end can do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and fraud has 4 years. But if that credit card is 2.5 years old and a whole bunch of charges were ran up on it, and then she's trying to state that it was stolen, that's within the 4-year statute for fraud charges. And can we address Thor's hammer? Why is she holding a Thor's hammer?
I don't know.
Like I just noticed that in this little clip we just watched that the lawyer, I think, standing next to him, the lady standing next to him, she's holding Thor's hammer.
I have to look at this. Where's Thor's hammer?
The lady holding. Look at the folder. See the yellow folder?
Yeah.
Right by his hands, right underneath his hand is Thor's hammer. It's being held by the lady holding the folder.
Well, she's the one that's going to be filing the lawsuit too.
Is she the one? Yeah.
Woo! Woo, my friends. Can it get any deeper?
Wild. Absolutely wild.
A credit card by 6-7 years ago. Damn credit card 2.5 years old. How he get it? From right out of here. That's how he got it. Just multiple crimes.
Cornell.
From the family. Want to say something? I just want to give them a chance if y'all want to say something on behalf of Rudy or your family. Yes, sir. Next.
Yeah, I know that what Rudy told you has touched you. Obviously, coming here outside of his mother's house is a pretty bold statement. Why did you pick this location to do this press conference?
Because this is where all of it took place. This is ground zero, man, for Rudy Farias and what took place. This house needs to be cleansed. This neighborhood needs to be healed. Everybody in this neighborhood has suffered because of what this woman did. And I came here to let Rudy know we're not afraid to come to your house of horror. Your house of horror right here, we'll come here. Your house of hell, we'll come here. And before I pulled up, I got a phone call before I pulled up saying that she was inside the house with guns. And that if I came to speak in front of her house, she had guns and she was going to use them. Let me tell that mama something real quick. You don't know who in the hell you playing with.
At all. We're not afraid of.
Let's be real crystal clear, mama, because you got the right one in me. Trust me. So if you inside and you watching and you want to come out and feel froggy, hop, baby. Because we won't need HB to do the best. Nobody at that point. She's so bold, she gonna make threats. That's because the police have not put her rusty raggedy behind in jail. She has not suffered no consequences. That's the problem why she talks so silly like that.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I'd want to get into it with them either. Janie, if you're listening, she listens to a lot of these shows. She's actually really enjoying it. Janie, that'd be like taking a knife to a gunfight. I would just stay in the house.
Not smart.
Like you said, you want to feel froggy, then jump. Then HPD has to do something. I think they were outside of the house to get her to do something. That's just my thoughts, though.
Yeah, the instigator.
Yeah.
But do we even know that this is true, though? That's my thing. Like, he could just be saying that. We don't. Do we know if it's true she was in there?
Oh, I don't know. Janie doesn't talk to me. I just think that it could be for dramatic effect.
Yeah.
He said he got a phone call. See, what I've noticed is old Q doesn't really have a lot of receipts, but he says he has them and he's waiting. But this lawsuit supposedly is about to get filed.
Yeah.
Snaz made it in. She said, having to catch up. I was held against my will by my pillow this morning. It happens on a Saturday, let me tell you. Samola said Janie wasn't even home. Now, according to him, she was in there.
Yeah, there was some comments stating that News Nation called him and told him that. There was some comments in chat about that said it was News Nation.
How would Beigefield or Chris Cuomo?
Yeah, see, look right there. Q said you can verify the threat with News Nation. Or are they just repeating what they heard in this press conference?
And you and I both know that when the rumor cycle goes, it becomes truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they repeat it like parrots over the next 5 hours and everyone has it burned into their brain.
Yep. You got that right. All right, guys, I appreciate everybody piling in here this morning. And I think this has been a great show. We've had great conversation. Our friend Jules was here. Navalis showed up for a little bit. I was hoping that he would grab the link and come on. But
I like his accent. I like how he talks.
I'm going to do some more digging in. I know Jules is too. Have you done a video yet? Because I haven't checked your channel today.
No, because I'm really... And I talked about this a lot yesterday, and I feel like it was the part where I felt like I was stupid because I couldn't figure it out. I'm really still trying to figure out that week from him, being found at the church, leaving with her, to how we ended up where we are now. Because we know the hospital didn't exist; it was faked, and they're meeting up at a hotel in a weird town. I'm waiting to do my video until I can figure that part out because I'm not comprehending. If he gave a fake name at the church and then somehow it got found out later who he really was and that's how we got here or what, because to me it just doesn't still logically make sense. If he would have told the people that showed up whenever he was found who he was, her magically showing up out of nowhere without being called to come and pick him up wasn't questionable, knowing that, or was he playing nonverbal there too? Those are the details that I'm trying to concrete down before I do mine, because I'm baffled.
Oh, I'm beyond baffled. And all I can do is just keep talking through this. And eventually it's going to go ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
And all arrows are pointing towards a scam.
Yeah. I mean, it is. And that's why it's hard for me to I don't want to say that he's lying because I can see the possibility of everything he's claiming being true. But the police literally doing nothing, to his age shouldn't matter in any of this, because in the basics, we were lied to about him being missing, so him, and that's why she never reported him coming home. And everyone was, he was going by a completely different name. He's not registered at any schools after the age of 17. He never got an ID. Nothing normal was ever lived in his life. People knew him as someone else. That's all kidnapping. I don't get it. It's just not making sense. And that's why the church thing is making no sense to me.
No, it reminds me, well, of course, about Gypsy Rose, how parents can program a child. But I've been thinking a lot about a case. I didn't have a channel at the time, but I just had a Facebook group about it, about the case of Michael Long, who coached his daughter into saying that she had been essayed by multiple men. Multiple. She was put through extensive exams, sane exams, which are, girls, we've been to the OBGYN. We know how uncomfortable that is. A SANE exam is beyond. And they kept saying, this did not happen. Forensic psychologists were talking to her. They knew she didn't have the verbiage of a girl who had been assaulted. Then he took off with her to Mexico, and the U.S. Marshals got him. He's still in jail.
Wow.
There is a lifetime protection order. He can have never any contact with Sophie.
Why would you put your daughter through? God damn, people are so sick.
She's a girl. It was to get back at the mom. It's parental alienation.
Yeah. Humans are so messed up.
Yeah. They are, and it's getting worse. They say education is key, but I think the more information some of these nutbags have, the crazier they get. There's still only 7 deadly sins, but they, stand on the backs of other deviants and say, well, I'm going to do it this way.
Yeah, loophole.
They figure it out. All right, guys, again, this has been a great show. I appreciate everybody coming in here on a Saturday morning. Jules got to come and spend some time with us, which is always a huge treat. Now, before I go, remember, what is the word of the day?
What's today's secret word?
Ooh, interesting question. Let's go and ask Cocky.
My husband answered from the next room, rotten ass.
Y'all are funny.
Rotten ass. All right, guys, we'll do this again Monday morning. Jules, you are welcome anytime. You come up. We love having you here. Let's have a round of applause for our friend Jules. Do not forget to sub her channel. Check out her channel, especially about the Idaho 4 case. And you know who I'm talking about. Maddie, Ethan, Xana, and Kaylee, because her work is amazing on that case.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for coming up. I'll get a hold of you later this afternoon if you're not busy. I have to get my husband off his high horse because I tell you what, he's going to be pissing in the sink later today. He thinks he's so special. Because the minute I announced that they're going to be filing this lawsuit against HPD, he was in the next room going, I told you.
That's so funny.
All right, you guys have a great rest of your Saturday, a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you back here, normal time, 9 a.m. on Monday morning. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Mod Squad. Thank you, everyone. Especially thank you to Jules and Navalis for letting us use his content. You guys are the best.